Okay. So just some of the questions that we would like to ask you from a coach perspective. Right. Um, would you agree that it is a very exciting time in schools rugby at the moment in South Africa? Or how would you describe the vibe?
Yes, I would really say it's an exciting time for schoolboy rugby. As super sports schools started getting the smaller schools or every school and every different sport of the schools that participate in get a bit of more publicity. So it's
Yes.
definitely the last 2 3 years has been more exciting for the kids, not working up
Yeah.
towards going to a large or a big school that they can go to the community school and they know they'll get some or even the publicity that they want to go to university one day and stuff like that. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I agree
And then
in
just
that
from my
point.
side, great stuff
Oh,
from my side. When we were in school, myself and Louis in the 90s, it was pretty much kind of the before the era of where school players used to be bought. Nowadays, we're basically in a modern era where a lot of your top schools with the money are buying a lot of players from grade
Yes.
eight, giving them bursaries. Will you say it's a challenge in these kind of to play against always competing against the money schools versus the medium schools and so on?
Yes, definitely. I think that's the most difficult, especially for Randburg at this stage. If
Mm,
you go back to you guys matriculated in I think '98.
yeah.
that's correct.
The rules of the from primary school going to your high school that was in the community. So if your
Yes.
primary schools had 7 or 8 Craven Week players or provincial players, they would go through to that high school, but unfortunately, in today's era, uh, even over the borders, going to hostels, some of the bigger schools has 15, 17, or even maybe 22
Yeah.
provincial players, and then you have to work with primary schools kids that maybe played second team or maybe third team or wants to play rugby for the first time. So
Yes.
Yeah.
that's our challenge for the last few years.
All right.
Luckily, I'm in a position from this year that I'm also recruiting and doing some scouting
Okay.
for Randburg. So
Oh,
from this year
Brilliant.
on, we're putting our toe into the water, as you could say.
yes.
We don't have
Brilliant.
all the finance to go and say, all right, we give you full bursaries for 5 years, plus we give you
Yeah.
school clothes and whatever, etc., etc. So, but from our side, we also moving in that direction to see if we can keep our children in our
Great.
community.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then another question also that obviously with the bigger schools, like in South in the Gauteng, we talk about Kloof, Monument. Will you say it's quite tough for let's say from now for a rugby player in Randburg to be recognized for the Craven Week? Is it kind of always a challenge, that the bigger schools tends to get more recognition?
Yeah, in a certain way, it makes it a bit easier, I think, because selectors that see boys playing against the best schools within your region
Mm-mm.
or with the Wilde Klaver, the best schools in the country playing against each other, they form a certain, well, in English, I think they call it a pedigree.
Yes.
So when they get
Yeah,
to
yeah.
selectors and stuff, you've got a boy that plays a brilliant rugby, but he comes from a smaller school, and you've got a, a a similar type of player, but he comes from a bigger school. They tend to
Mm.
maybe to pick that boy above that, but we're trying
Yeah.
to close that gap between the smaller schools and the bigger schools.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Because
Wow.
I know in our day they still had the Craven Week trials. So you still had a chance from a smaller school perspective to get, if you are really very good, to get in. But it
Mm-mm.
seems that has fallen away. So they just basically sit, okay, we see him, okay, come, and this is probably how they assemble the Craven Week team now, correct?
Yeah, so you see, if I can fall in there,
Mm.
I'm luckily to be a part of the under 16 selectors for Golden Lions
Okay.
or the Lions Rugby Union. So what
Wow.
we do with the schools, we've got a section A. So that's your Monas, Kes, JP, all those type of guys, and they play in school United, and then the smaller schools, they go to trials beforehand, and they pick about, let's say, 20 or 30 players that then will be part of that system that plays as a invitational group against the bigger schools. So you can still, I can promise you, any boy in South Africa, if he has the talent and he gets the coaching, I can promise you from a smaller school,
Brilliant.
he'll make it if it's meant for him.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
we know that, especially from Randburg, that Linden is your biggest derby. Which other derbies would you consider as big besides Linden?
Yeah, well, the last few years that we went up to the Noordwaal or the Section 1, we played against Merensky, Eldorraine.
That's right.
We had Jeugland last year that dropped
Brilliant.
dropped down one league. We lost to them. School United Front, we lost against them with 1 point, so that's why we went down to Section 2 again. But hopefully this year, we did our homework, and I think we can make upwards movement to next year as well.
Okay.
Brilliant.
How many of your team from last year will be in your team this year?
So first team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting. The boys that are in matric now, they came to Randburg 2022.
Right.
They were under 14.
Yes.
They won the Noordwaal.
Yes.
They were the champions. 23, they played in the final against Centurion, lost, I think, by 2 points. Under 16, we won. So we've got a very strong senior group, if I can say, grade 12s.
Right.
We've got I think let's say about 17 out of the 25 in the group
Oh, awesome.
will be matric.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've got a really good unit in front, and we've got a lot of pace.
That's good.
At the back.
That's something Randburg
So if the forwards can get us over the advantage line, we can move the ball to the wings, and we've got some wheels to burn.
Oh, that's nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I know my brother, he played first team for Randburg, grade 10, 11, 12, left wing. I mean, he was quick, like seriously quick. So, okay, that will be exciting to see that the wings will score the tries. We will definitely go and watch a couple of games, purely because we came from Randburg. So you've got our support all the way.
Thanks, man.
So, and also, how do you deal with the team culture? I know the players move through the school, and maybe from grade 12, they go to university, then you get your grade 11s that go to grade 12, and then grade 10 to 11, they get dragged into the team. How do you build a team culture knowing that maybe some of the players next year won't be there? How do you build a team culture around that?
Yeah, so I won't speak about a team culture. We're trying the past few years. We've tried to make it a part of Randburg's culture, a rugby culture.
Right.
So at under 14 level, we start with small stuff, being on time, school clothes with your blazer. You saw last year the under 14 A side. If we score, they run around the field. So it's building a culture from under 14 words up, so that even if you at senior level, you lose at the end of the year, you lose 2 or 3 or maybe 7 or 8 guys, that the next year the foundation is laid well, so that they can just fall in. Every year, every team has a different game plan.
Yes.
Because you've got under 14 big forwards, under 15, they've got backs and speed, but small forwards. So you're different from playing to one type of structure.
Yes.
But the type of rugby that Randburg wants to play, we wanted to start a DNA, a Randburg DNA that says, all right, this is the type of rugby that we want to play at this certain level with this under 14, 15, 16 year group.
That's good. And you're talking about that. So what kind of rugby would you want to see Randburg play?
So it's difficult to pinpoint, say we want to do this.
Right.
But let's say I've been with Randburg now for 10 years. Started in 2016. So I've been through under 14, 15, 16. I've coached, I think, 6 years now at first team level.
Okay.
So I've seen the different type of boys coming through the system, the type of kids we got from the primary schools. It's difficult to say, but if I can pinpoint something, we've got clever kids. We've got clever boys that you don't have to be physical, because we have a physical aspect, but not dominating.
Right.
So with that type of physical, that you have to play smart, not run over the tree, but run into the branches and type of stuff. So we don't have to always bully our other team, but we can maybe outsmart them. So I think what we're trying to do at Randburg is we do a bit of analyst your opponents, so that we work out, let's say, we see they don't commit to rucks, they fold, so we'll rather go and pick and drive. So that's why I say we've got clever kids, so we are adaptable.
Yes.
So each week we've got a type of structure,
Yes.
but we're flexible to say we don't have to go to game plan B or C. They clever enough, if I can say that.
Yes.
Their points don't show it always on their reports, but they're clever enough to say, okay, sir, but let's go. I see they overcommit to rucks. We can move the ball, come back, or snap back to the other side, came back from the line out to the scrum. So it's important for us to use the tools that we've got. We don't want to go and under 14 and say, boys, we're not physical. We have to be physical under 16.
Yes.
We have to work with what we've got and build around that. But we still want to get that DNA for Randburg. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And also,
talking about, sorry, Louis. Talking about academics. I know in the varsity there's a kind of a policy that academics has to be on a balance for a rugby player to be allowed to play in the first team. Is it a factor in school rugby?
Definitely not. I think nowhere in South Africa the rugby coach that's appointed at the first team worries about the points, but it should be. We've had this discussions. If you go and look at the movie Coach Carter, he says the boys must sit in the front rows of those classes. They must have a certain standard of points and stuff like that. So we try and do that, but unfortunately, some of your better players isn't always the clever one in class. Yeah.
True.
No,
it's always the balance, academics versus sport. It's always that kind of balance.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, one of the guys who wrote Matric with us, he played Craven Week and eventually he played Springbok Sevens. He got a bursary at Koffsies, and all they told him is, as long as you pass, you are going to play first team for the university. So very interesting. But I know school is a different level. They don't worry too much about the academics. They only worry about, okay, right, we are going out on the pitch later and we're going to make a mess. And then everyone is happy, right? So,
well, most of the time. But as I said earlier, we've got smart kids. So it's a bit above average that we're lucky to have. Right. It's not every boy from prop to fullback that everybody has 6 or 7 distinctions. No. But we've got smart kids, and then we've got street smart kids.
Yeah. No, and also from a captain's point of view. So obviously you have your captain, you have your vice captain, And now with the modern game, they have almost like a leadership team within your team structure. Is that now the case with schoolboy rugby as well, or is it just the captain, vice captain, and that's it?
Yeah, I think definitely the rugby game in school has adapted to that.
Okay.
That you've got your senior players that know this coach has this type of patterns or structure he wants to run, and they know it, so they implement it down to the younger boys coming through the system. But at the end of the day, at Randburg, we try to give the kids as much of freedom as they can have, but within borders. So you've got your freedom, but freedom only exists when you have borders.
Yes, yeah. Because that was actually my next question as well. So let's say you are playing against, let's use Linden, and and from your side, or even from the captain's side, they see things aren't going according to plan. Does the captain and the structure, let's call them the management structure within the team, have that freedom to say, okay, hold on, boys, this is not working. We know this was the game plan. Let's switch it to something else and see if this works.
Yeah, in a certain way, but from my side, kids, I don't always trust them to because you try one or two phases or 10 or 15 minutes, then they say it doesn't work, so we go to this plan, or they want to try this. And schoolboy rugby is still a lot of structured, so it goes from your senior players to the captain or the vice captain or your backline captain and your forwards captain, and they will maybe speak to the physiotherapist that's on the field if somebody's injured or fakes an injury to get some water on, or maybe get a message through to the coach, and they'll say, sir, something is happening, plan A is not working, can we maybe try this the next 7 or 8 minutes until halftime? Can we move a bit the ball to the second or third phase, or a second or third plan, or whatever?
Okay.
So that's definitely there, because we want to give the kids as much of ek soek nou die Engelse woord vir verantwoordelikheid,
Well,
Responsibility.
Yes.
responsibility on the field,
Yes.
as much as possible, but still within borders, because that's the only way they grow in the
Yes.
sport.
Yeah.
If they take the responsibility, because they see and feel and believe everything on the field, other ways that the coach next to the field sees it. So
Yes.
definitely to get that through to them.
And also,
Sorry, Arno, I see you're online. Is there anything from your side? Because I think
Yes.
your sound is sorted.
No,
Awesome.
I've
Brilliant.
just got two questions. I've just got one question, because basically, I think that Louis is very good at asking these questions. He's like he's like a person who's born into asking these questions.
Absolutely.
So I've just got one question which I would like to ask you, to Basi. Basi, do you actually see some of your players as getting bursaries to go to university? Maybe you see some of them as, I don't know, I suppose you can't mention the names at this stage because it might be unfair towards the other students. But maybe if you see some of them going to the provincial team, or maybe even some have got the potential to become Springboks. Are you aware of such people in your team?
For 2016 or 2026, not 2016, for 2026 this year, to be honest with you, I think there's about 4, maybe 5 boys that can make it to getting bursaries at different universities. Let's say for instance UJ, or go to NVE Pikke, or maybe if everything falls right, maybe they go to Stellenbosch. Depends on what do they want to go and study after school. But I think there's 4 or 5 boys that maybe can make it work, maybe play for the young guns in the near future at varsity cup level, maybe in 3 or 4 years. But at the end of the day, it's difficult, because if you see the schoolboy system at this stage, it actually stops at matric, at under 18 level. When you go to university, yes, your provincial players gets contracted by the Blue Bulls or the Lions or the Sharks or the Western Province or whatever. So that's the selective few. But the rest of the boys get bursaries to go to university, and actually there the line is drawn, and they say, all right, all of you are now, you're not from the Free State, you're not from Gauteng or from Joburg or wherever. We all start brand new. We've got a coaching system, and I think if the boys has the discipline and the motivation to make it big, I think maybe 2 boys can raise some hair in the near future.
That's very good. And
Yes.
just to get back to when you guys have a match, you as the coach, right? Where are you? Are you in the stands? Are you standing beside on the side of the field? Where are you normally?
Well, if they allowed it, I will be right next to the referee, standing there.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm next to the field, so most of the schoolboy level coaches, well, Randburg, we're not as privileged as the bigger schools to have 6 or 7 guys coaching one team or a group of seniors. For this year we've got 2 coaches, as me, myself, and then Leon Maritz coaching the first team, and then we might bring in we've got a physiotherapist, and then we've got a conditioning coach, but he's actually doing the school now, so I can't claim him for myself. So it would be actually only 2 coaches plus the physio, and we are literally next to the field, as you see at Ellis Park, just beside the halfway line, 5 meters, box smart, all that stuff. But if the ref doesn't look and the linesman is not close, I will be on the 5 meter, maybe on the 15 meter.
And you have our backing. If we come and watch a school, one of your games, and we see this, be sure we will follow. We will be your wingmen. We will just follow. We have no issue. And then another, just out of a coaching perspective, right? When you see things go bad, do you lose your temper, or are you one of the calm guys? Like, okay, fine, these things happen. And then when halftime comes, you give them some harsh words and then leave it there? Or do you throw out all your toys and go crazy, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, so that's a difficult question because I think I'm a bit of both, especially when you know that when you're playing, you much better than the opponent, but it's not working. Towards you're playing against a good opponent, and it's not working. So, halftime speeches is my speciality. If they could give me 30 minutes, I would speak for 30 minutes, but we only have 5 minutes. So my words always to the boys is when we meet halftime, I say to the boys, all right, you've got a minute, you drink water, you calm down, and then we listen.
Yeah.
And when I speak, most of the time is, boys, we've been doing this and this and this wrong, and they've been scoring points, but our strength, we haven't been collecting points. We have to work towards our strength and minimize the mistakes. So I think I'm a bit of a coach towards both sides, especially when you know you've got this guys by 10, 15 points, but the scoreboard says you're behind by 7 or whatever. So I lose my cool a bit. But then also when I know it's a tough game and we 10 or 15 behind, but I actually see the boys can make it, or we could grind it through and maybe take a win here. I tell the boys, listen, we've got this. They gave us everything they had, and they're only 10 or 15 points ahead. What did we do? We absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. Absorption is past now. We have to go and play rugby for the next 35 minutes. And we've, if you had a look at last year's games, I think 6 or 7 of those games we were 15, 20 points behind each time.
Yes.
And we came back, we drew with
Yes.
Sport Gymnasium,
Yes.
31-all.
Yes.
Dynamica, our first game was, I think they were up 18 or 28-0, and we went to win that game, I think 38-28. So halftime speeches, it works.
That's very
Thanks,
good.
man.
That's very
Yeah.
good.
One last question for me. I know the first term normally is athletic season, and athletics is quite big and it's quite a huge thing in high school. But when does the first team come together for team practice in 2026? Do you start basically from the school, or is it later on in the term?
So to be a bit privileged there, we've got the gymnasium on school premises.
Okay.
So when we finished our season last year, from about end of August, starting September and October, we had our off season. We test the guys and say, okay, this is our strengths and weaknesses per player.
Yes.
And then the 16s from last year came through. They joined that group. But officially, training on the field would actually start only the 2nd or the 3rd of February, the first week in February, because athletics and swim and cricket at this stage takes all the time. And Randburg doesn't have 50 rugby players, 50 athletes, 50 cricketers. We've got 50 boys that does all that sport.
Yes.
So we try and manage that to say, all right, boys, I know the fitness will pick up at cricket level. You will be fit. So we start with ball skills and all that stuff from February.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Good. I've got nothing else from my side. I see our time is almost up. Erno, anything from your side?
From my side, I would just basically like to speak to Basie about aspects of the graphics of the magazine, but I don't think we need to discuss that now. And we're going to speak in Afrikaans if it's possible, please.
Yeah. But
ja, dit gaan vir my baie makliker wees dalk later, want dan gaan ek bietjie meer uit die hart uit kan praat, want ek praat so bietjie uit die hart uit, maar meer uit die brein uit.
Baie dankie. Ek het 'n boodskap gestuur in die groep waar my maale woon, Daan Malanshof, baie naby aan Hoërskool Randburg. En gevra of iemand nie die afrigter se nommer het nie binne 5 minute. Toe sit ek daar, ek soos, wow, dit was maklik. En toe dog ek, okay, toe los ek dit 'n dag of 2 en toe dog ek, okay, laat ons kyk wat gebeur. En ek is baie dankbaar dat jy so welkomend was sonder enige issues. Dit is regtig van die diepte van my hart sê ek baie dankie.
Yes, absolutely.
Nee, ek wil eintlik vir julle manne dankie sê, jy weet, as jy gaan kyk, dit is nog steeds moeilik. Ons het in die begin gesê dat skole sport of skole rugby op hierdie stadium lekker groei, maar op die einde van die dag, as dit nie vir ouens soos julle is met die passie vir die sport wat aanlyn tydskrifte en al daai analise en goedjies doen van verskillende skole nie, dan sal op die einde van die dag ons ek sê nou maar kleiner skole, maar die ouens wat nie noodwendig altyd die publisiteit kry op Supersport self en sulke goed nie, sal nooit die geleentheid kry om bietjie te deel nie. En om eerlik te wees, ek dink as ou gaan kyk hoe meer publisiteit hy kry, want die vandag se ouers en seuns en selfs spelers, of dit nou dogters is of wat ook al, hang vas aan publisiteit. Jy weet, kinders van vandag is soos een van my baie goeie kollegas en my mede-afrigter gesê het, dis kinders wat onmiddellike terugvoering wil hê. Hulle soek nie iets oor 4 of 5 maande of wat ook al nie. Hy soek dit nou. As ek iets nou doen, wil ek môre my video op die TV of op die internet sien. So regtig van Randburg se kant af, spesiaal van my kant af, baie dankie vir julle ouens wat julle tyd opoffer vir sulke goedjies. En jy moet weet, ons is amper weer 1000 leerlinge. Ons hap so aan 1000 leerlinge by Randburg. So ons groei
Uitstekend.
en ek sê vir jou ons gaan nog bietjie hare in die vroeë toekoms gaan ons 'n paar hare reis hier in die grotere Johannesburg. Ons werk, ons het 'n prentjie. Ons het 'n prentjie en ons het 'n plan. Ons moet nou net ons kinders in ons gemeenskap hou, dan gaan ons bietjie bloedneuse uitdeel.
En dit is
Uitstekend.
ook wat ons van die begin af wou doen. Ons weet die groot skole, hulle het hulle following, supersport hang aan hulle. Ons wil agter die klein skole sit, want hulle kry nie genoeg publisiteit nie.
Yes. Ek is regtig dankbaar vir julle manne en julle tyd en alles wat julle insit en julle moet weet as jy vir my ietsie stuur binne 2-3 dae dan sal daar 1000 followers wees en ons volg julle ook al die pad.
Baie dankie.
Dankie baie man.
Lekker.
Baie dankie vir julle tyd manne.